watching is what's going on with APA? APA. I don't know his actual name. What
I
is
think
it?
APA.
It's
Although
APA?
but they play into the whole APA thing pretty well with
Yeah, I was gonna
the yip
say.
yip 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 bitch that his
Yeah,
dad
yip yip
runs.
bitch.
That's great.
Bro is like, bro's pretty fun. I mean, between him, Insanity, this split, Revenge, getting on a real team, like, the amount of NA talent that was just misguided or misplaced kind of makes you wonder. Armeo, too. I don't even know how I forgot that. Like,
Armeo I don't count because Armeo, despite the
true, he
the
did get
the
injured and
the
things.
TSM and TL stuff was like, sure, some of that wasn't him going in at the opportune time, but he definitely had injury issues to work with. So it's different than like Revenge, APA, and Luna. Will you shut up? And who's the other one? Insanity. God, they are just
Yeah,
annoying tonight.
it's it's kind of weird. Like, not weird. It's kind of annoying in some ways watching all these NA guys popping off who just never got a shot while we recycled the same people over and over again. Like,
Or imported like mid-tier players that were great for a split and fell off.
yeah, I mean, right now, like, you gotta think. I know you're a 100 Thieves fan and you're pretty tied to them, but this getting rid of Tenacity has not really seemed worth it, in my opinion. Not saying someday is not good, more just you really paid money to buy him back,
I
start him while paying Tenacity out the rest of his deal because you refused to get rid of him.
I know it's gonna seem like I'm a dick rider for this, but I don't fully agree simply because I doubt we paid much for uh, Someday at all, given the EG blowout. And with that in
Yeah,
mind, like we probably got him for cheap, and it's just a holdover to help quit in until we can put General Sniper in next year.
yeah, it just kind of seems silly to me. But I get what you're saying. Like, I fully understand.
But
It's just
that's
that
cope. Like
whole.
I do agree with your
Yeah,
general
yeah.
sentiment. Like I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, like, in my mind, there's a logical process to go through
I
all
get
of
what
this.
you mean. Honestly, like I fully get what you mean. It's just like coming from the like man, there's just all this talent being wasted perspective. It's like, dude, he's another one. Like we're gonna have to wait until next year when we've been waiting 2 years on him
Yeah.
getting to see him play. And next year, who even knows where he goes? Like genuinely, who ever buys the TSM slot and maybe dig sells, maybe they don't. I don't know. Uh, like the TSM slot though should be looking at like him. Low key, you could probably keep Tenacity. I don't know. I don't really know why you wouldn't. Like
Yeah.
he seemed fine so far. Uh, Jungle, I mean, they'll have to do whatever they do for Jungle, but Boogie's looked a lot better. I've actually been surprised. And then they can look at a bot lane. Like you can you can actually look at a more NA centric team
Yeah.
instead of just doing what people have been doing. And also, like, I mean, EG's kind of shown you can dang near be top of the league, and like, who knows if they win it or not, and how playoffs goes. But you can make a uber competitive team with mainly NA players.
I'd be curious to know how EG does without Unforgiven,
Very true.
because that'd be a big question mark in my mind. But at the same time, it's like, why was Unforgiven in LCS Academy anyways? That never made any sense. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those like. I felt like it was a really weird 100 Thieves purchase. It kind of made sense in the sense of like you could have him for in case Doublelift sucks or doesn't want to play, but
But
at the same time, like Doublelift doesn't really quit on summer, so we know spring could be tough, and then they got rid of him for. I guess it makes sense. Keep him for the split. You're worried about Doublelift. Get rid of him for the split. You're not.
yeah, I mean,
Probably just traded him in someday. Probably didn't even have to pay for someday. To be honest.
I don't know. I mean, it's just. I hope this leads to significant change in North America, but I know it won't. So it's like I'm not getting my hopes up. Because ultimately,
Yeah.
what people are going to see is people are going to see Cloud9 winning the split. Because I think Cloud9, once they get in the playoffs, is just still going to be like best team in the league, regardless of where they finish in the regular season standings. It's just like TSM. You know, as long as they made it in the playoffs, you kind of knew they were going to make a run for it whenever they had Bjergsen Doublelift. So
Mhm.
it's like, I'm not worried about them. Even if they're dropping games and looking iffy here, like once they hit best of fives, they're going to be fine. I just don't want people to look at that roster and be like, yeah, that's why we're going to continue to import because, you know, Berserker and um and M&S.
M&S. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't think they're that much better. I mean, Berserker, yes. Berserker, I think, is like a prodigy talent that's just incredibly good at the game. That will be good
Yeah.
for an extended period of time. Like he is clearly an exception and not the norm.
Yeah. But it's also like I can see them thinking that way, but it's also when you look at FlyQuest, you're also getting the other side. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's only going to be one Berserker. You know what I mean? In M&S, like every year. Well, two, because in LCS you have two splits to win. So you're only gonna possibly win that twice. Then you have TL and FlyQuest who are making it look like it's not worth the money. So hopefully people like are reminded of that in some ways, you know, and honestly sending young talent like this, like EG is, even though like I know we all have our problems with EG's management and they let's be honest, they probably got pretty lucky with this. Like
Yeah, it kind of fell into our lap a little
don't
bit.
want to give Kelsey Moser not any credit
Yeah,
because
no,
she's
I agree.
really smart. But it's also like this happening was the best case scenario for them of this. Like this is the best it would go. And that might not happen every time, but when it does, you see how much quicker people get behind you. You
Yeah.
can literally be a shitty org, like a shitty people running your org, bad morals, and look how quickly people forget it because they want to support NA talent so bad.
Yeah.
Like people have put all that behind them because look at TSM. TSM probably did worse than what EG did, but so there it was going to be even harder for them. But nobody was happy with TSM because they went through imports. They
Yep.
were trying to win with imports, so they doubled down on, hey, we're bad people, and also we don't care about this region. We're gonna go buy people from other places. No support at all. Honestly, became like way more hated as deserved. And then TSM started Insanity, and I've never seen more people like kind of cool with us than now. Like people have been like, "Oh man, this is cool watching Insanity get a shot and making it work." Like I'm just like, okay, I guess people are cool with us now because of this.
I know outside people have obviously been happy with TSM, but like, how's like the fan reaction? Because I don't check their Discord or their Reddit or anything else like.
Oh, it's about what you would expect. If we lose, it's just, what are you gonna do? If we win, it's nice. Like we, what there, that's about it. I mean, the Ruby thing was pretty big deal. Like people saying, "Hey, this ain't gonna fucking happen when we're not in NA." Like, if we're starting people we know suck, like we're gonna be pretty pissed regardless. Like people were mad because at the end of the day, you're still a fan of a team that you want to win.
Yeah.
So like people were calling out coaching staff and being like, "You just tossed 3 games for no reason,
Yeah.
other
That
than you promised them something."
that's the sad thing. Imagine where you could like, and you had fairly easy games as well. Like 100 Thieves in hindsight, like I think you guys probably could beat us.
100
All
Thieves and
things.
Dig
Yeah.
were
You,
two of the teams we played. Yeah.
yeah, you could have probably beaten us had Insanity stayed in.
hmm
Ruby just
Now
didn't look good.
now we have to beat you guys this week coming up. Like not have to, but it would be greatly beneficial. FlyQuest is making it easier every game. So
I'm shocked. And now with you guys or with NRG winning, they are now 2 games out of playoffs with 6 games to
yeah.
go. And their remaining schedule, which let me
it's actually a lot of teams who are super motivated to beat them to make playoffs. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Because like you don't want to give them a chance either. Because like if they get hot,
Yeah.
they could. I'm not saying they will. Obviously, their track record's against them right now. But like, you don't want to take that chance. But next week they play against NRG, who would be one of the teams that sets like that 3-game gap alongside 100 Thieves. We are tied 7th, 8th right now with them. We play Immortals, so it should be a win for us. But like it's for FlyQuest, it's NRG, EG, and Team Liquid.
Yeah.
NRG is the one that you're looking at. Like as a FlyQuest fan, you have to win that because if you lose the other two, you have 3 games left, and assuming that the teams above you split your record at worst, you'll be 3 games behind going into the final week.
It's not looking good.
No, not at all. And I love it. I love and I feel bad because like I know Numi works for FlyQuest, and I know there's a lot of people over at FlyQuest that like are good people behind the scenes. So I kind of feel bad saying this, but at the same time I don't. It makes me happy whenever super teams that are built in this particular manner fail.
Yep. Well, yeah. I get what you mean. Like, you don't want just VCs coming in all the time and trying to buy.
Yeah. Which I don't mind
talent like that.
I don't mind some teams buying, but it's like at the same time there's a reason why people hope that the Yankees lose. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch the people that spend a stupid amount of money lose it, despite what people like. I know Travis said on Hotline League the other week, like, "Oh, you want to see teams like FlyQuest do well that come in and spend their money." It's like, no, but if you're spending it recklessly, then it's a problem. Vikla, I mean, I don't think we have to say much. Like that's one of the worst spends that you've seen.
Vikla is not very good.
No. Spica obviously is he's good. Impact we've seen can be really good.
Yeah.
Vulcan, I don't think we have to say much about Vulcan. Like he's got the pedigree to back him up. Maybe he's slumping
he's
right
just
now.
falling off.
Yeah. The question is,
I don't really. Yeah, and it's like I could still give FlyQuest maybe some room to catch. I don't even know who they catch, I guess, because NRG is so weird, bro. Like, NRG makes no sense.
No.
But at the same time, I can see... I'm not fully sold on Dig's run they've had lately. I think, like, the only thing about Dig that I've noticed is that the problem for FlyQuest, though, is they've been 2-0'd by Dig. Let's make that clear. They cannot tie Dig. They would have to win more games than them, or hope that it's a 3-way tie. And the only thing about Dig, though, I worry about for them is that they play. Do they play TSM and TL again, right? I think
for Dignitas?
They do. Oh, they don't. Nah, Dig might have a pretty easy road to get back in. They do. They play TSM and TL again, and they played TSM and TL when TL had Harry and TSM had Ruby. So.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if you're looking at Dignitas' schedule next week,
it's pretty easy.
It's TSM, NRG, Immortals. It's literally bottom of the thing.
No, it is. And the thing is, like, the thing about Dig is that they'll have to beat TSM with Insanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, they're gonna have to do a lot this week. This would be the week where they make me go, okay, I believe in you. Like, you're actually a good team. Because the thing is, they play like TSM, like we've said, but they have a way better mid laner this time, and they don't look depressed. They look depressed with Ruby, let's be honest.
Yeah, they do.
And they play NRG, who's randomly on a hot streak again, which this is what NRG does.
But then they'll cool off next week, and they'll go 0-3 against teams that they should beat, and that just is what it is.
Yeah, so who knows there. And then they have to play Immortals, which is a free win. So they'll probably be outside of where FlyQuest could actually catch them at that point. Thinking about it now, yeah. Because then next week they play Golden Guardians, 100 Thieves, and Team Liquid. That's not easy.
No.
But it's definitely not hard. Like,
Yeah, like TL has dropped
yeah,
games. 100 Thieves weirdly, like, I don't know. We're that team that beats. We're okay. Remember Clutch back when they were in the league?
yeah,
How they would perennially like sit at sixth and beat
yeah,
everybody below them, but never win against anybody above them. That's
yeah.
exactly what 100 Thieves is right now.
True.
We beat you guys. We beat Dig. We beat Immortals, and we beat Energy. Or no, we lost Energy the first time around. Uh, but generally speaking, like we beat the teams below us the
Hmm.
majority of the time. We just get absolutely stomped by the teams above us. So it's like if you're looking at the 100 Thieves game, like sure you see us lose to EG and TL, but at the same time, like is that a way for you to end up winning? Maybe
Yeah,
not.
it's gonna. I'm excited we get our grudge match with you guys with,
With
actually having
Insanity. Yeah.
yeah, mid laner. That'll be nice. Like, it's you guys are hard to like diagnose because you're exactly what you said. You just aren't really doing a lot right now to beat teams above you, and some of the games you're dropping worry me. Like, it's not good. And right now,
No.
really, like, what is it? TSM and I'm trying to find it. Yeah, Dig, TSM, NRG, 100 Thieves are fighting for upper bracket.
Yeah.
Like, we're fighting to be able to play an upper bracket because isn't upper bracket like 6 and up?
Yeah.
Okay,
The
so
the thing though is that I think like the only team that really scares me of all the teams on like that bottom half fighting is actually NRG. Simply because I think Palafox and Contracts match up well against us. Like in terms of our matchup against you, I think Doublelift handles Wild Turtle pretty easy. Like as of right now with Doublelift's form, I think he's fine. Busio has these games where he ints for whatever reason, like today on the Nautilus, just taking 4 auto attacks from Thresh and then fighting at level 2 whenever Draven has push. Sure. But like you gotta beat us through mid jungle. Because some days consistently a rock and like he does not lose us games. Bot lane might like Busio might have his moments, but like you have to beat us through mid jungle. Or more specifically jungle, because last week, like even in our losses, Quid has looked decent.
which like I don't know what's going on with Boogie, but he's playing out of his freaking mind
Yeah.
right now.
So like you guys Boogie and Insanity, if they're playing well, is now scary.
Yeah. That's only because realistically TSM has exactly what you'd want. Two young, hungry guys, right, in mid jungle who are playing well, and then just veterans in every other position that are good at team fighting and know how to play a team fight.
Yeah.
So it's like, and to be honest, we have some completely degen players. Like, I've not seen this. It's been a while since I've seen a TSM team that just is like everybody's like, fuck it, we can fight.
Yeah.
Like, let's give it a shot.
I mean, it's better to. I'm so jealous. Like it's honestly been a lot of fun watching your games and watching Team Liquid's games, and just watch you guys be willing to fight.
Yeah.
It's so nice, and then just watching the North American players on your teams just like popping off and proving everybody wrong. It's just it's so much fun to watch. And then you tune into the last 200 Thieves games, and it's like Closer has 2 assists, no kills in both games.
Yeah. I mean,
Can
you
I
guys are in a rough
can I
spot,
can I
man.
can I just say this? I went off on this. I recorded the 100 Thieves video that I'm doing for tomorrow earlier, like after the game. So I'll go into more depth on this there, but I just want to say I'm so tired. I saw it on Twitter once, and then I also saw it from Raz on the LCS broadcast. There's no excuse for Closer playing as bad as he is right now. I don't care whether you say he steps it up in the postseason or not. If you're costing us the ability to get upper bracket, because you cannot play the freaking game in the regular season, that's a problem. That's a big goddamn problem, and I don't know
Yeah.
what is going on with Closer right now. I've
Yeah.
seen him play better than this. We all know his ceiling is way higher than this. But what happened that he's regressed this far? Because it's abysmal.
It's really bad.
Wukong, okay, so Busio messes up in lane, obviously gets all of our summoners blown. What do you think's gonna happen? Oh, the Team Liquid Wukong is gonna come bot lane and try and dive us. Where's Sejuani? Nowhere to be found. So then Wukong comes in, they dive us, they get a kill, cool. They're ahead bot lane. Where else are we making a play? Nowhere. Closer's power farming. So then Wukong goes mid and blows a flash there. And then top roams down and gets a kill on mid because they're 3-man diving us. And where the fuck is Sejuani? Where's Closer? The
Farming.
entire time. God damn. Like, do something. What are you doing?
The worst part is, like, next week, either Dig, 100 Thieves, or TSM, realistically, all three of them are in a good spot to try to 3-0. Well, you guys have C9, but...
We do?
Yeah. Thursday, you play C9.
Oh, Jesus. Who? And we have, besides that...
You play Immortals, so you'll start the week good. Then you play us.
Next week's a trap week. We should go. We have to go 2-1.
Yeah.
If we don't go 2-1, we're doomed.
But it's like one of those. Anyone between Dig probably has the highest chance. We'll put Dig highest, right? Like Dig is probably best shot at really separating from the pack and guaranteeing upper bracket.
Yep.
100 Thieves has a good shot of getting a game up on TSM, and so does TSM on them. So 100 Thieves is probably third because you have C9, and then TSM is probably second best chance, but they play Dig. Then we play Team Liquid. Team Liquid is way easier than...
Yeah. The only thing that we will have going for us is that our final week is going to be extremely easy.
Very.
Because we've...
Well, it's really...
Well, no, because we will, in the second round robin, we will have already played Evil Geniuses, Cloud9, and Team Liquid. So the hardest opponent that we will face is Golden Guardians.
But you still got to play Dig and NRG, who are both trying to...
Yeah, no, I know it's going to be close. I'm just saying, like, relative...
Oh, okay, yeah.
Compare that, like, everybody else has to face some sort of combination of Team Liquid, C9, and EG.
Oh, we're screwed. We play Cloud9 and EG the last 2 days.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, like, the final week where, like, you really want to try and make a move, there's a good chance at us going 2-1, and a lot of other teams going 1-2. And if we can pull off that upset against Golden Guardians, then we're set to climb even further. Like, you can really make a move in these last 2 weeks if you finish 4-2.
And Dig probably has the easiest-ish schedule going to end the split. Like, they should be able to honestly close it out and get playoffs, which is kind of surprising to say. Like, FlyQuest low-key does not, like, they're going to have to really work for this.
Oh my god, yeah.
They have a lot of work to put in because FlyQuest plays NRG, then they play Evil Geniuses, they play Team Liquid, TSM, Immortals, they get a break there, and then Cloud9 to finish the split. Like, they have to play EG, TL, and C9 just to finish the split.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't know how to say this, but without sounding like overconfident, but I kind of feel like all our teams are virtual locks at this point for playoffs.
You're willing to confidently say that FlyQuest and Immortals are out of playoffs.
I think they're just done. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, think about it. FlyQuest has to gain 2 games just to tie.
Yeah.
currently
And
with
as of
7
right,
seeds.
yeah, and they're guaranteed at least 3
and
losses.
they have to play 3 teams that we're pretty confident they can't beat.
What do you do if you're FlyQuest management?
You're in full-blown panic. Probably you should be prepping your PowerPoint / words for management to explain to them why this fell apart.
And why you should keep your job. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing that blows my mind is like the only change that FlyQuest technically made was just
An upgrade.
Vulcan, right? Yeah, it was an upgrade.
Yeah, a complete upgrade.
This is one thing that like I don't understand about the League of Legends scene. It's like why are we so slow to get rid of coaches and management? A team like this blowing up, somebody should have gotten fired by now. Like you should be trying out interim positions and like be actively scouting and letting people know, hey, next year you want a head role here. Like we're on the market. There's a reason why teams let go of coaches early and like really start getting in the market because it's like then you can signal for some of the bigger names and try and get your pitch in early for them and like try and convince them to come over and
or a position player. Like why is Vikola still in?
Because who's their FlyQuest Academy mid laner?
I don't know, but does it matter? Just put him in and try it.
Because if he's not great, I don't like. There's no point of him going in.
I guess that's true, but I mean, we picked up Insanity. I don't think anybody would have thought Insanity was better than Vikola.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you might as well try things. Because right now they just look terrible. It's terrible.
So the mid laner that they have is Spyrax.
Never heard of him.
No, neither have I.
Screw it. Give him a shot. Who cares?
I don't know. This is tough.
Like, yeah, Khan is saying like they're 3-9. Why not try something? Like just chuck in a guy and see what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have no hands, and at this point, you might as well see what happens. Like,
I think after this week, you will see a move.
yeah,
Not a doubt about. There's no chance that going 0-3 this week, they don't make some sort of move. I find that to be impossible. And
yeah, because they didn't.
I'd be willing to bet. I would be willing to bet the head coach is out.
I mean, let's be honest. This was their week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're talking about a week to claw it back, 100 Thieves, Golden Guardians, and Dig, that was this is gonna suck to hear as a FlyQuest fan, and I know they're not ready to hear this. That was probably your easiest week.
Yeah.
To finish out the year. Like, next week is NRG, EG, and Team Liquid. Not very easy. It's not getting better. The next week is TSM, Immortals, C9. There you go. That's probably your easiest week.
Yeah, your final week. But even then, like, you could lose so much ground this week that it's impossible to catch up.
And 2 of those games are against teams that are like, well, is against a surging team, and 1 is against the best team. It's only an easy week because Immortals is in there, so we think you can win 1 game. That's why we're calling it an easy week. I genuinely am not like too worried about all the playoff teams currently staying playoff teams.
Yeah, I think I'm weirdly
like,
enough.
Do you think they can win 3 games out of all that? Because I don't see.
I think they can win 3. I do. But I don't think 3 wins is enough to get them to playoffs.
3 puts them in a tiebreaker.
I think 4. I think 100 Thieves and NRG both have 2 wins ahead of it because both of them have to play Immortals. So they have 1 guaranteed. And if they win 1 more, you have to win 4. And I don't think FlyQuest can win 4 of their last 6. I really don't.
I was just meaning, I think if NRG or 100 Thieves had a complete meltdown, in a perfect world for them, they have to win 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing is, they still have to play 100 Thieves, I believe, right?
Yep.
Or have they played you twice?
Oh no, they lost those twice. So we hold the 2-0 tiebreaker.
So you hold the high tiebreaker there.
Yep.
But do they have a game against NRG? They do. So they would have to pray to God that NRG didn't win a single, won one game to end the year, which I highly doubt happens.
Yeah.
Very highly doubt happens.
I mean, look at their schedule this week. This was the week that you would assume that NRG would shit the bed.
Yeah,
and
they
they
won a
beat
game.
EG. They beat EG
Yeah.
and Cloud9.
Yeah.
Shit. Now, granted, we know EG. They could streak and then go on a 3-game loss streak. The teams that they should not lose to, but they'll immediately bounce back and then 3-0 the next week.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I think I'm with you. I think.
And oh, what?
I was just
Sorry.
gonna say. I think I'm willing to call it. I think I'm willing to say the FlyQuest season is done.
And let's be honest here. If EG plays FlyQuest next week, if you don't think Ayla's saying, "Hey, do this one for me," type deal, like
Yup.
this one's for me to feel something, like you're out of your mind. He's probably ready to absolutely shit stomp these guys.
Yeah.
Like he wants them feeling like they're watching. He does not want them in control of their destiny.
No. Especially when EG, where are they at in the standing? Are they still tied for first?
Yeah, they're tied first.
They're tied for first with C9.
They're playing hard right now.
Golden Guardians is a game back. TL is a game back. So pretty much, I mean, both of them are playing with house money at this point. They have the lead. They should be able to hold on to it.
Yeah. I really don't see a world where 100 Thieves and EG don't win 2 more games. But honestly, I don't see a world where TSM, 100 Thieves, Dig, NRG. I think all of them win 2 more games. And 2 more games puts FlyQuest out of it.
Yep.
Like, that's why I feel comfortable calling it.
That's wild.
Yeah, I know that's crazy to say in week, what are we in, 6 or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's just life, though. Right now, they look like, oh, it's week 4. It's a 6-week season. Dang.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's
Jesus.
wild. But it's,
Jesus.
I don't think anybody. I'm gonna not talk about the holdout for my advantage here. FlyQuest is done in week 4. Put that on a headline. Tweet that. That'll look good. That would pop some people.
That's. Oof.
They're completely done. We watched probably the biggest meltdown I think I've ever seen in LCS history.
Oh my god, yeah. I can't, like, people are gonna point to Team Liquid, 2020, or
Oh yeah,
as
and
probably
C9s.
I
I forgot about that.
C9. Well, here's the thing. C9s was very quick though, and like happened at the end of the season, and even then, like, they won spring, and then summer they were still dominant for like the first 10 games or so, like the first 10 or 11 games, and then just fell off in playoffs. Like got 2 series swept, and that was it. So like, yeah, it fell down at the end, but like this is like the worst. Like, this is like, you know how whenever like you accidentally hit like a deer or something like that when you're driving, and you really hope that it just passes away if it's badly injured rather than having to worry about putting it out of its misery. That's what it feels like right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it does.
That's
like,
the difference between like, yeah.
And you know the dozens of FlyQuest fans are really let down right now.
They didn't like that deer analogy either.
There's maybe, I mean, the thing is, this might be the biggest blow up in LCS history, but nobody will know because who cares about FlyQuest? No hate. No hate. But there might be like, 6 people out there holding hands right now singing Kumbaya.
What I saw somebody suggest this on Twitter, and it would be the most BM but hilarious thing possible.
Mhm.
have Golden Guardians or like TSM. TSM would actually be perfect for this. And their final split, have a jersey recycle thing. Be like, look, we'll give you $10 if you give us any jersey but our own.
Oh, that's so bad.
Or like, and here's the thing: you could be as toxic as you want because you're not coming back. $10 for every jersey. We'll give you 15 for a FlyQuest jersey. We feel extra bad.
Oh my gosh. That would be so bad. That would be terrible,
That
bro.
if you had to, if anybody from TSM ever had to show their face in an owners meeting ever again, they would be the most hated org of all time. But it would
Oh
be
yeah.
the most hilarious thing to do. Somebody needs to do it though. Just take FlyQuest Spring Idea, and just be like, "Oh, you liked all that hype? Here, we'll give you 50% off our jersey now."
Oh my gosh. The hilarious thing is that I was reading about on the subreddit, and it's obviously TSM subreddit, so
Yeah,
they're
they're
max
a little
coping.
bit.
But like I was reading this guy put, low key, we do have a lot of players who've played a lot of best of fives. Like, maybe we do make a run in our last split, just piss people off even more. Like, go represent NA as a force. But the best part was the comment ended with, like, the best thing would be though is if we took the fourth seed, went to Worlds, and lost to EU, and to be the first NA team to lose to EU, like in a best of five.
That would
Just
be
to piss
hilarious.
everybody off out the door.
I don't think it's gonna happen though. Like I think even if you guys go, I think Revan's a good enough coach that you guys beat Europe.
Yeah,
'Cause
and honestly, like us getting to Worlds is a pretty high
I don't think so.
task.
I don't
You
think
don't?
so right now. I all you have to do is pull off one upset against
Fair.
Team Liquid or Golden Guardians. That's all it takes.
Yeah, and TL's not even really too big of an upset right now. Like, I know they're alone in standings at fourth, but they're like not a, I would say, a strong fourth. Like, they're not a fourth that, maybe this comes back to bite me when we play them. But I don't think they're like a fourth that's like an unbeatable mountain.
I agree. They're just super good in the early game, but you can 100% beat them mid to late.
Yeah. And I think you get, like, they're kind of, no hate to Golden Guardians, because they're definitely going to Worlds. Like,
Yeah,
I
I'm
want to
pretty
make
sold
that
on them
clear.
going to Worlds.
Pretty sold on them going, but you guys like could definitely beat them. Like, I don't think Golden Guardians is an insurmountable odds team either.
No.
Like, I mean, today when we beat them, huge game, like, had to happen, and I'm happy the boys pulled it out. But also, like, that I was like, dang, like, I thought Golden Guardians was a lot more formidable than this, and when I saw Hanser solo killing Licorice, I was like, ugh. Like, not like ugh as a fan, more like ugh for LCS. Like, yikes, we fielded a bunch of bums, and we came out there and said we don't care, and now we're like looking at people and being like, we're back a little bit.
Oh man.
Like,
The storylines this season, if everything plays out for like maximum memeage, are gonna be great. It like I'm I don't know.
Well,
I can't wait.
here's a question: if
Oh boy.
TSM, like, let's say miracles happen,
Yeah.
they get 3, right? Like third in this, and then at Worlds, this is the time they make it out of groups, right? Like, through some miracle. Do you think they move still?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You do?
Yeah, not a doubt in my mind. This one
Man.
single split isn't gonna change their opinion, especially when you look at like everything around the LCS and just like fire.
There's just
It's
a
all-
part of me that still wants to believe that, like,
That you'll still
Reggie would be like, oh man, NA players are still good.
Dude,
Like, obviously I've accepted we're going somewhere else.
Nah,
but-
it's copium because I went through the exact same thing with Optic, where like
Yeah.
it was announced that we're probably gonna sell to Immortals, and then we started to split like 4-0, and it's like, okay, hold up, what if we What if we do good? And then all we had to do was beat CLG in playoffs, and we have a match to go to Worlds. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, okay. And then they're like, no, we're still selling to Immortals and giving Immortals the naming rights and everything else. And it's like,
Damn.
but you're not, you are not going to be able to give up hope until it's official. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
telling you, you will always hold out hope because that's just how it works. And there's nothing I can say or do to help you through it without, like, somebody just telling us bluntly that TSM is gone.
I definitely think like I want to pick a team. Like I'm pretty sold on picking an NA team now because I don't know why TSM, low key TSM doing what they've done now, like just showcasing NA players, and then saying we're going to a different country, like made me go dang. Like there are some NA players I really like. Like I want to see
Yeah.
these guys play after. So it's like kind of getting me to want to keep watching. I'm
Yeah.
really hoping whoever buys a slot is likable enough that I can be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch them and see how they develop a young team. That would be nice. Like NRG, I could never be a fan of just because they can suck it. Like I want them to lose, and it's for the olden days too.
Yeah.
But like if Fun Plus Phoenix ever came back or whatever, that's not their name. What was it? Phoenix Gaming P1 or whatever, you know?
You know they're now FlyQuest, right? Like FlyQuest rebranded.
Oh yeah, they
from
just
P1.
rebranded.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they ever tried to come back as like a P1 type thing, and like some old team rebranded that, I would hate them too because they kept us from a perfect split one time. So, like, there are just certain teams you remember to hate, and there's some of them, but yeah, I'm kind of like sad now because I'm not gonna lie, the split's so fast because every week is a super week.
I hate
And
it.
this is like my last split to watch TSM in the LCS, so it's kind of been sad.
I like the Super Weeks and hate them at the exact same time. It's nice because I can passively put on League of Legends on a Wednesday night and just watch it because there's like nothing else to do on a Wednesday. But like at the same time, I've cut back on my interviews to literally one day a week, to where like I only have to do that once, and then like I'll do TikTok and other shit as well. But it's just like 3 days in a row is too much. 5 hours a day.
It's draining.
Like, it's bro.
Highlights are your friend.
They are, and unless you work in the space, it's like, come on. And like,
Yeah.
the problem is
Yeah.
we're not at the point. We're not at the point yet where everybody can just tune in and watch their own team because we don't have enough fans like that. We haven't done enough to develop individual teams like that.
Well, that's impossible, according to what I've read on Twitter.
Really?
It
'Cause
is
I watched the LFL sell out a fucking stadium yesterday.
Nope. Not doable. You don't know how much it costs, Dave. You don't know.
Do you have any idea? Did you see the videos from the LFL yesterday?
Oh yeah.
Pissed
Oh yeah.
me off.
Low key, we could go to LEC and I wouldn't even be bad.
I wouldn't be. I mean, I kind of would be, honestly. I think the LEC is dropping the ball at the moment, like heavily dropping the. You have all that shit going on in your backyard, and
Yeah.
you're not doing anything.
They won't go to LEC. They'll go. Let's be honest. They're gonna go to LPL because I guarantee you, of all the owners, Reggie's probably one of the ones that's been pushing the most. Like we need to.
Yeah.
Do more in-person stuff. Like he's probably one who's pretty big on taking risks to get paid, and I mean, as we've seen, so he's probably going to LPL because that's the only place where you can regionalize a team and get that kind of carry. And LPL people love us. Like I don't know why. I've seen like signs watching LPL stuff. I've seen TSM signs like people are prepping for us
Really?
to come to LPL.
That's
yeah,
incredible.
like LPL fans know we're gonna come and buy one of their bottom tier orgs and try to take it all. And I think they actually like. I don't know if they're looking forward to it. I couldn't tell you, but they know we're coming, so we can at least do that.
Wow.
And I don't know what you do though if you're buying into LEC like as TSM, because I don't think a lot of orgs want to listen to us. One, I don't think LEC broadcast likes us for some of the things we've done. I think the guys who want to win, like when Cadril said respect to the fact that we're going to LPL to try to win worlds, I think that's because Cadril's a former player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And former players understand that like fans like TSM demand such high level, same as a G2 fan, that like we'll kick you and move on. It's a lot harder for a TSM fan because we couldn't kick our baggage. Like Reggie is unkickable.
Yep.
Carlos was at least they could get rid of him, which was nice for them. I'm glad for them they could do that. I wish we could have gotten rid of Reggie and continued like trying to be dominant, but that was impossible. And that like kind of wanting to win, like people get, but at the same time, like Reggie just makes it harder. I wish he'd take a step back, to be honest. If he'd take a step back, we'd be able to go other places. But honestly, we're stuck with LPL because they at least, it's harder for them to figure out. There's translation errors that make it easier for them to not know that we're abusing people. And I don't think, to be honest, that most of them care.
Yeah.
Have you seen the gambling stuff in there?
Oh yeah.
Like there was a chance at one point that LPL could have been shut down this season.
Wow.
Because of players gambling, and they were like worried that LPL wouldn't go to Worlds. They thought about suspending the season, but they didn't.
Wow.
Like
It's really that bad.
LPL is pretty Wild West.
But there's so much money going in it that it's like
Yeah.
it can be Wild West and still be just this massive scene.
Yeah, it's just a massive conglomerate of money and like hype beast that you can't stop it. You know what I mean? It's like an unstoppable train type deal. Eventually it's going to throw itself off the rails, but it's for now it's working. And then you have LCK who's like quietly doing every correct business decision.
Well, apparently they aren't because they're still struggling, according to the Gen G
really?
CEO Arnold. Yeah, he said they're still losing money hand over fist.
Oh. Well, did you see Vengi step down?
Yeah.
Like 2 hours ago?
Shouldn't be surprised. Again, how does T1 change their management before FlyQuest does? Or their coaching?
Because their fans are psychos.
True, you have to have fans. Forgot. Damn.
What did I tell you? There's nobody complaining. There is nobody out there complaining right now.
What, the Bengi stepped down?
No, that FlyQuest sucks. Everyone's just laughing because nobody actually likes them. Like, and you can't blame. The thing is, you can't even say it's losing or it's not winning or something. Like, FlyQuest went to 2 finals in a row, and I did not see them gain any like substantial traction. I'll say it like that. Their CEO is doing a good job at building a unique brand, but I don't think they were actually catching people. Now, granted, you can honestly blame that on the growth of the league. The league's not growing, and well, it wasn't growing when they were winning a lot, and there weren't new people coming in. LCS wasn't doing anything to get all these new people.
But to be
They
fair,
started.
we're still not.
Yeah, we're not. And when one org, Immortals, tried to do some Great Lakes initiative, we saw nothing come out of it. Which, I mean this as kindly as possible. They were losing a lot, so they had a lot of time to come to the Great Lakes area. Just saying. You had a lot of time between splits to come to these areas and do more in-person initiatives, but nobody really cares about any of these orgs. Like, regionally.
No. It's the one thing that like really.
This is what happens when you neglect the East Coast.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god.
Look at Call of Duty. Like, I know a guy who didn't get into Call of Duty until 2 years ago, and he's been to a Call of Duty, like, major thing in, is it Ohio?
Oh, he went to the Columbus major?
Yes.
Yeah.
He went to something in Ohio. Yeah, the Columbus major that you're saying. And he was like, yeah, it was so cool. Like, I did all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, that's sick. And he was like, do you go to a lot of stuff for League? And I was like,
No.
I mean, I don't really have a lot of opportunities. And the one time I did have a chance, I deployed, which
Yeah.
sucks. But
That's the only. I mean, it's shit for you because you deployed, but at the same time, it's like New Jersey would have been the first one realistically that you could go to. That or maybe Raleigh. You
I
might have
could
been
have
able
gone to
to.
the Chicago Worlds event thing.
True.
But
Well,
Worlds,
Chicago was LCS finals.
yeah. And like I could have gone to that, which I probably would have, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I 100% would have. But it's like, dude, the East Coast is where you build. The East Coast has so many more people, and we've looked at that D1 college map. Like, if you want to get the college kids, the East Coast is where they're all at. Like,
And I'm sorry, but like we hyped this up prior to spring finals, and it just came exactly what we thought would happened. Where it's like you have all these colleges in the area and so much potential with like UNC, Duke, Wake Forest, and all that, and I didn't see anything about them.
no,
We didn't get them involved in any way, shape, or form.
no.
And it's like,
You could have got a cheap beer sponsor, like, or you could have got a beer sponsor who wasn't really giving you much money, which I know doesn't help profitability, but you
it
could have
helps
got
the
a beer
fan
sponsor.
experience.
Yeah, toss out free beers. You know how many more people you would get to show up? Like,
It just, and I would love to know, is this Riot blocking the LCS from doing this, or is the LCS upper management, are they just not on that page?
well, there's
But
not a CEO right now either, yeah.
I'm not sure, because it's like you look at the broadcast and they're clearly like they understand what they need to do in some aspects. Like the content from the broadcast has gotten exponentially better. Have you been watching like the
Yeah,
are you smarter than series, like everything that they've been putting out?
they've been actually cooking. Like,
Mark
broadcast is on
Z,
something.
Mark Z has got it, and then like all the
And
skits from everybody else, like
the
it's so good.
and the player stuff they did with the C9 players,
Oh yeah, just like
that
letting them
was
take over the
electric.
broadcast segment. That was
Yeah.
great.
That was fantastic stuff.
It's so good, and I love it. But it's like that, and then the more I look at this, the more I start to question. It's like, okay, if LCS management knows that, surely they know that you have to get in front of more people than just LA. They have to know that, right? I mean, maybe they don't, but I refuse to believe that these guys don't understand that, unless like LA truly lives in its own bubble where like you think that like you're the center mecca of everything and you can just do everything online and be perfectly fine and grow an audience that way. But like,
Yeah, there's
I
no way
don't.
they believe that, and like that's one thing about I'm not getting about what we're doing with LCS, because it's like so region locked right now to a point that it's like, dude, how am I supposed to even watch it like
I don't
other
know.
than online?
I'll say this. I'm trying to think of the best way to word this to be like as ambiguous but also clear at the same time. I had a dinner during Worlds with a friend of mine, somebody that works for the LCS, and then like 3 or 4 others. And we were talking about the LCS the entire time. And when I brought up the idea of like localization, like going out more, touring more, and all that, it was very torn at the table of whether that felt like whether people thought that was a good idea or not. And I was surprised that it was torn. Now I think I don't want to misrecall this situation, so I need to go back and try and have a conversation with one of the people that was at the table and try and remember this. But like, I'm pretty sure the I know at least the one person from LA and maybe another like weren't for it. But I don't know. You got to do more. You just got to. And also, can I bring this up real quick? Is because I feel like this is going to be the best forum to talk about this in a constructive manner. I know there's a lot of ragging on Gabby right now that is undue because people just simply don't like her for whatever reason, which I don't think is a fair way to handle the situation.
Yeah, not a fair shake.
That said, I personally have not been enjoying her cast at all. I feel like the emotion doesn't match the moments. And I feel like in moments where you should start to be getting hyped, it's just not there. And this has been a consistent problem. Like who was the first game of the day today?
I wasn't able to watch today because I had to do take night. It was dig fly.
Jensen gets a kill in the Dragon Pit during a fight. It's not mentioned at all for like 10 seconds. And I'm just sitting there and like it's still like very monotone. And it's just like she has moments where she's good. But there's just like I don't know, just for whatever reason it wasn't doing it for me. And then on top of that, like her pairing with Azael, like I love Azael personally, but I don't feel like he fed well off of Gabby, and the two of them just didn't mesh as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it like Azael is a very even kill guy that you need to put with somebody that's a little bit more energetic to bring the most out of him. It kind of to me it seems like it brings him out of his shell, and he's the stable rock to what would otherwise be like chaotic energy of like Flowers, or even back whenever Freak used to be there. Like it was the counterweight to that, and it worked really well. Gabby doesn't have that chaotic energy, so it didn't feel like they bounced off each other all that great. But whenever she was in the TriCast last week with, I think it was like Jat and Mark, like you had that chaos between the two of them that she could be a little bit more stable. But even then, it's just like I want to segue that to a broader point on just the broadcast of like, we've got to level up the in-game experience for fans. I think we're doing the content right. I think they're doing like these events that they do every 2 weeks, right? Sure. But the games themselves and the cast are clearly not hooking people in the same way.
Yep.
And I think that needs to be worked on in the off season. I don't know by what means. That's not my call to make. Nor am I going to sit here and say that I'm experienced in how to handle that. But like clear upgrades and fixes are needed to try and make that feel fresh. Bringing the players in has been one of the best choices that they've made. But like you need more on top of that.
I'm getting really worried about LCS. Like going forward because of what you're saying there. Like there's something about waking up. Like I slept in really hard today, I'm not gonna lie. Slept till like 6 p.m. And well, for people's little bit of help, I usually sleep till 4:30 p.m. Night's life. But I slept hard, so I woke up to catch LCS, and I get on YouTube. I watch it on YouTube because I have
Same.
YouTube Premium. And I'm getting on YouTube, and it's like 20k viewers or something when I opened it, and I was just like, dude, we have a lot to fix. Like, a lot to fix here. This cannot be happening. Yep. I don't know what Twitch is at, but that's not, it's not gonna be sustainable. And like you said, like, even if you're not a fan of localization, you need to try anything at this point. Like, I don't think you need to be a fan of anything. I think you need to be just hoping. Like, because have they hired a new CEO yet for the league?
You mean a commissioner? No.
Commissioner, my bad. That's worrying me because that means the plans for next year are already in, or they're not gonna have much time to make them happen.
Yeah. Like you start the
So,
plans for next year pretty quickly afterwards, and
yeah,
like nothing as of yet's going on.
like at least from I would say from our understanding of businesses, you and I know that like businesses are usually at least a year ahead, if not more.
Yep.
So they're probably already thinking about it or have decided it, and there is no commissioner there. Like, this is really tough for a league. No commissioner for the player strike, like all this going on. Like, there are so many things that have happened, and there's no face of the league. Like, there needs to be a face of the league. We need our David Stern, Roger Goodell type who go, hey, I'm being given a product that needs a lot of love, and I'm going to give it stern love. And we need somebody like that. Like, we need that guy to be like, hey, the players are going to shut up and listen for a minute. I got to make this happen and fix this league. Like, I know people hated David Stern for keeping people so on lock, but he also, like, saved the NBA in a lot of ways. And Roger Goodell has made football, like, damn near worldwide. Like,
Yeah.
he's kind of an insanely good commissioner.
As much
And
as
we need
people want
somebody
to
like
hate
that.
on him, he like there's no
Yeah.
denying that the NFL is just a behemoth.
And
Now,
he's taken
even
the
more so than
transition
it
to
was.
gambling like an absolute dog. Like, you got to think the NBA, like, transitioning to the gambling world probably isn't as hard as the NFL because there's not as many players. The NFL is managing, like, thousands of players.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just been like, you know what? You want to gamble on something? I'll put out a less, like, better player than you, and the product will still look good. Don't care. And he's been suspending guys for like a year and just putting his foot down on people doing $1,000 bets. It's like it's pretty impressive how hard he's working to just be like, hey, we're gonna get into every era and every scene as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
And we need that. We need somebody to come in and really save this from itself. Cause we gotta keep watching something. I'm not gonna start watching LEC that much. Like,
No.
it's on too
Although
early.
I will say I personally have been enjoying the LEC and
It's a
am
very good product.
excited for it. Uh
If
I
they
would
would just move to more in-person events.
I wouldn't say it's a great product. It's still got its flaws, but like I enjoy some of the storylines with G2 and Fnatic right now, and now that they're going into uh, best of threes, I think it's fun. I think one thing
Yeah,
that I am sold on this, and this needs to happen starting next year. All best of threes and best of fives need to be fearless draft.
true.
That should have happened a long time ago. And I'm like, that increases the entertainment value so much and forces pick diversity, champion diversity. Like it doesn't change the game because you still need to be adapt with all these champs, and it forces you to have a little bit wider of a pool. But it's just so much more entertaining than
Yep.
feeling like we're stuck in the same goddamn meta over and over. Like, you need change. We're not basketball or football where like you have this extended time off that like the game can remain the same and come back, or like for basketball like you always have this influx of new talent, and like it's, very much like keeping up with the Kardashians as well as the
Yeah.
sport. It's like it's bigger than life. But
In football, there's 22 different people on the field at any moment. So the amount of like error that happens in football is the art of football. Like, that's why everybody's watching. Like, there's those perfectionist teams, the Patriots and the Chiefs, who just can do anything at any moment. But there's also that beauty of what the Bengals did 2 years ago,
Yep.
and the Rams having 1 year of just completely running through everybody and then going right back to being nobodies.
Yep.
Like, it's the beauty of the game. And I mean, even the freaking 49ers, bro. Like, the 49ers is like, they're the complete opposite of what everyone else is doing. And then they run into a team that's like, hey, we think we can run the ball even better than you. And the Eagles did it all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Like, that's just the beauty of football. There's so many different ways to play the game, and you can be a defensive carry team, you can be a running carry team, you can be a passing carry team. It's just beautiful game. And there's just not that with League unless you can do what you were saying, the fearless draft, and trying to keep that difference in the game is so healthy, like so beautiful for the game. And League is a very pretty game when it's being played really, really well.
Yeah.
And that's why I think so many people have fallen in love with it.
I
And we need more of that.
I saw a post on Reddit that apparently like activity on the League of Legends subreddit has like been decreasing as time has gone on. Like general interest in like the further conversations of League is kind of dying down a little bit more than it was, which I think to a certain extent is natural, but like that's where you really rely then on the esport to carry it.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, sure, general interest in the game can wean over time. But like CS:GO, you look and it's just had the stable, it's very slow, but it's like a stable trajectory growth as time has gone on. League peaked like very high early.
Yeah.
And sure, you're going to see some burnout with like the casual players and like everything like not being as reliable as time goes on and people get into other things, but like that's where you really need esports to be that solid rock for people to come back to. And I
And
don't feel like it's at that in its current state. I don't think LoL esports. Can you hear Coco crying in the background?
yes.
Jesus Christ. I don't think LoL esports has found that stability point yet
Mm-mm.
where they can be that bedrock that keeps the game going for a very long period of time outside of just China.
Yeah, and it's gonna take a long while for League to kind of climb back there. Like, there's not a whole lot, I think, of American interest growing the game. Um, Sadly, it looks like League could be going to that point where, like, global guys like Dom and Cadrill watching other leagues is gonna be what helps keep the interest peaking in America and Europe. But I think like Europe has the formula, which is these, I'm not going to call them underground games, but like that underground vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Like a league that isn't even allowed to go to Worlds, pulling 3,000 or whatever people to a stadium is pretty, or a theater is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Like, they can't do anything to compete beyond their own league, and they're popping off. And that gives me hope in Europe. It gives me hope in China. Uh, I have a lot of hope in Korea, still figuring it out. I think Korea will figure it out.
Yeah.
I really do think they can. They have so many good players, and they're so interesting that I think they'll put it together. NA, I think we could figure it out. I just think it's going to come down to like what has to happen. How small does the league have to get? Because there could be a consolidation of talent. There could be a point where Riot buys back slots. A
I
lot of
just
that could happen.
you have I don't even think it's small in the teams though. I still think despite what some people will say, I think 10 is fine. If
It should be.
if you can condense everything to the point where you can tour. I refuse to believe that going out to spots outside of LA only twice a year is effective. It's just not. And then when we do it, I'm curious to see how Jersey goes because I'm nervous that it's going to be a continuation of Carolina. And I look, if anybody can judge what the vibe and feel of live events is like, I feel like I have a pretty decent credibility when it comes to
Yep.
that, given one, where I live and the events that I go to around here, and B, just my history with sporting events, with the
Yep.
Steelers, with the Penguins, with going to Knicks games around here, with going to Yankees game. Like, I go to a lot of like sporting events, and just I know when something is popular, and I'll be able to tell you Sunday, by the time game one is part of the way through, how we're feeling.
Yep.
And like, that's gonna be a sign for me of like, shit either needs to change,
Yeah.
or we'll see from there.
Because I've been to 1, 2, 4, 5 different cities to see a Final Four,
Yeah.
and I've seen how like that
Oh,
works. You know what I mean?
Final
Building
Four is just
yeah, it's pretty like if you want to, and I'm talking about the reason I think Final Four is like a good help too is because it's like the Final Four is something that you're watching a game being played in an arena that it's not meant to be played in, if we're being
yeah.
honest. And that's the same for League of Legends. And seeing that, like how different cities do it and what the vibe is of people, like you're definitely right. Like live events is where you can just keep your audience. And live events is where a lot of your owners can what is it called? Free networking. They can do a lot of networking. A lot of people in the business can network. And as much as we all hate it, and I hate seeing it every Super Bowl and every other event, seeing all those rich people sitting really close who don't actually care about the game, it looks really annoying. But having that is huge for every league.
Yep.
It is important to have people showing up to these big games. When Obama showed up to Duke, Carolina, playing in the Final Four for the first time ever,
Yep.
that's pretty stinking huge.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, that puts basketball, college basketball, although it's already on the map, that puts it all over the map. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. Why is Obama at this basketball game? And then they learn it's because it's like they start reading about Carolina and Duke, which is like this beautiful rivalry. And albeit it's gone, so people can't do that. But if we could have something like that where people could have read about the El Clasico, where TSM and CLG were polling 500K viewers in the regular season,
Yep.
like back in the day, because it was such a hyped, hated rivalry, and the two of them were fighting so hard. And you had Cloud9, who was in the league, actually winning, like kicking both of them off the pedestal, and they still just hated each other. Like, would put the biggest, stupidest bets they could on the game, Hot Shot and Reggie, and they were literally only trying to beat each other regular season. They would drop games just to do extra prep on each other, like kind of crazy stuff. And when you have that going on, that's like great for a league.
Yep.
It's the beauty of the game. Now, like, I don't really think Cloud9 has something like that.
No.
Like, I don't think they have a rival that kind of inspires people to go watch a Cloud9 game. You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of a rivalry in the league right now.
There's not one.
Like,
there's no legitimate rivalry. Like, there's nobody, as a diehard 100 Thieves fan, that I sit here and say, yeah, I don't like losing to TL, but it doesn't ultimately, like, there's no bad blood. I'm not sitting here like, God, I can't, like, I'm not sitting here circling a certain matchup on my calendar, like, ready to fucking kick ass.
and Steve and
Nature
aren't doing interviews about each other.
Yeah, like, it just, I don't know.
You need that, though. You need the owner to hate somebody. Like,
and you can't manufacture it either. Like, it has to be organic. Like, did I show you the interview of the Minnesota Rocker player at Champs?
no.
Okay, we're gonna watch this together, because this is gonna show you exactly what is missing from League of Legends esports. but why it's also never going to happen because teams are too scared to do it. Pull this up. Or no. Or wait, no, he was Ultra. Tron. Was it Standy? Oh, Scrappy is his name. That's who it was. I don't know why I was thinking. This is one of my favorite moments that I've seen in a long time.
Stage with Lando. That's right, yes we do. Scrappy here in front of the Toronto Ultra.
No, this is the Toronto. Sorry.
They took you down at your home major. They walked away with y'all trophy, but here in Champs when it mattered, 3-0, how does that feel?
Oh, come on, like, are we gonna show up or what? Like, what is going on here? Winners finals, 150K, let me get it.
That's it. Get it, you got it. There's more money to grab. Now, you ran them like a book, okay? I'm pretty sure y'all went over that footage from the last
great,
event.
dude.
What was the key to success? Why did they wasn't even put up a fight there?
Yeah, you know, we knew what they were gonna come out and do. We know how they play. You know, shut down Hydra, team's pretty ass, so, you know, it is what it is. You know, just kind of play us, mix it up, don't just play one-dimensional. You know, come on and get the dub.
I mean, this kid's talking shut down Hydra.
Oh my gosh, bro.
You're gonna be playing tomorrow in the grand finals. How does that feel right now?
Feels great. You know, job's not done. Still got stuff to do. You know what I mean? One more match and it's ours.
One more match. I'm gonna give you one last thing to say to these fans until you see them again
That's
tomorrow.
fucking
Shout out to all the fans. Yeah,
They proceeded to get 5-0'd in finals. And
Really?
Yes, they got their ass kicked horribly. But also, another reason why I love.
But having Scump say like this kid's funny, them vouching for him, I think is really good.
Also, this. You don't see this in League of Legends.
How about our analyst desk? An incredibly shocking turn of events here in Las Vegas.
What? Why are they saying that?
Seattle will march forward through the tournament. We say a fond farewell to the...
Why are they saying that to him?
Just because his basically the it's complicated, but it weeds back to one of the things in Call of Duty that is like incredibly popular, or like I need this up. I'm really fucking up the story. Basically, have you ever played Search and Destroy in any game, or like a mode where like you have to plant a bomb and then defend it, or you just kill everybody and you win the round?
Yeah.
His girlfriend is famous for yelling out ninja defuses. Ninja defuses are when you hop on the bomb to defuse it and the other team doesn't know. And basically, it's one of the only moments in esports where a crowd can ruin it. A crowd can say something and like get louder, and the team will know to check the bomb because the ninja defuse is coming in. So in those moments, it's imperative for the crowd to not change in volume. Like, you have a responsibility as a fan to do that. She had a tendency, anytime a team was on the bomb, she would scream at the top of her lungs, giving it away. And it pissed everybody off. So then people started going at his girlfriend. He then started beefing with everybody in the esports scene because he's defending his girlfriend. And then it got messy. So now anytime he's on stage and they lose, Fuck You draws a chance. Immediately come out from everybody in the crowd.
Damn.
He has become like the villain of Call of Duty by a wide margin.
Damn. That's kind of insane.
Look, COD players are just not afraid to talk shit. And it makes
Yeah.
such good storylines every time. That's how you develop rivalries. Like now, people like watch Toronto play, and this kid that's sitting there saying that like, look, your team's shit. Like, yeah, they got beat bad in finals, but he's really goddamn good. And you can hate him all you want and cheer against him. It just fuels him because he just goes out and then win. Like the event prior to that, they won. So
I think
like,
yeah.
no, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like it's though that like League players are just so like, or Riot is too I don't know how to word this, but like Charmin soft.
Yeah.
That's the nicest way to put it. Like they kind of forced players to not be toxic and fans to be like super happy-go-lucky. Oh, the team lost. Let's feel bad for them. Like what made C9 hate TSM was back in the day when Jensen was shaking and messed up his Echo R. Like people, TSM fans were like, ha ha ha, every time a C9 regular season game happens. If Echo was picked, we'd be like, don't mess it up, don't push the wrong button. Like they would say that stuff. Don't choke, don't start shaking. But nowadays, when somebody starts like shaking or they get nervous, people are like, hey,
oh, he stage fright. Like,
why are you
aw.
being so rude to him? Like, how about you comment? Like, a lot of TSM fans were told that, like, you guys are just bullying him. And I was like, well, yes, I know he's a human, and I don't want him to do anything bad from that. This is this is what makes sports
Yep.
sports.
Yeah.
If
the
you
shit,
can't,
the
like,
shit talk is literally everything.
yeah, like, that's part of the game. Like, there is never going to be a day where sports are fun because you just sit there.
Yeah.
And go, man, that was a really good, fun game. I'm glad we got to see the game truly played at the highest level. I'm really happy right now. That just doesn't work in sports.
Nope.
That's not how it functions. Like, you think Chinese and Korean best of fives are so good because Chinese and Korean fans don't hate each other to their core? Like, that's why they're so good.
Yep.
Because both sides want each other to lose so freaking bad. That's what makes it fun. Like, it's not fun because, like, the greatest thing about the Asian Games coming out is that these Chinese players are psychopathically playing just to make these Korean players have to do military service. That's
Yep.
it. That's their only motivation. These guys are playing for their freedom, and the other team is playing to just cuck them. That's everything in their body is like, I want you to have to go do that. I think it's funny. And that's the only reason they're doing it. That's crazy, but that's sports. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of it. Like, that tension, that's the best thing ever. And I don't know, like, League fans hate that. Like, I can't even speak on it. Like, some of the best moments were when Faker and that last one where Korea was crying and people were like, don't show this. I was like, no, you do show this.
Absolutely, you.
This
show
is
that.
what makes people love the game. Because you know what happens when you show that? One, you're going to have to do a lot of work, yes. From a coaching standpoint, from a therapy standpoint, every psychologist in T1's organization is going to have to be on their A game to get him back. But if you bring him back and you showed how broken he was, every single person watching that recovery is fueled out of their mind, loving every moment. Like, that's him. He's back. He doesn't care. Like, that kind of stuff, you don't behind the scenes break somebody. Like what happened with Danny. And yes, we don't want that to happen. But for every Danny story, there are like 10 good stories of that.
Yeah.
Where a player does recover. Like, there's a lot of good ones. And yes, there's a lot of bad ones because unfortunately only 1/10 of every league wins. So that's life. Not a lot of people win League of Legends. But it's just like you gotta be able to watch those things. You gotta see them because it builds a narrative. And I know it sucks. And I know that kind of chant like F you to a certain player. I'm sure in League people would be like, oh, it's like, no.
And to be fair, even the Call of Duty players were like, or like the pros were like, okay, tone it down a little. Like they weren't saying like they weren't coming out scolding the fans and like telling them to stop, but they were or like aggressively to stop, but they were like, guys, chill it out a little bit. I like the energy, I like the vibe, but chill it a little bit with the fuck you draws a chance, because like that's a little much at times.
It was the same when Paul George came back to Indy, and all the fans were booing him. Like, a lot of the halftime thing was hilarious because everybody's booing him, and then at halftime they play a video for Paul George, and they're like, hey, I know everybody's hating on him right now, but let's not forget he took us to 3 Eastern Conference Finals. Like, and they're playing all the stuff he did. Like, that's the beauty of the game, because the most funniest part was everyone went from booing to when he did that 360 tomahawk windmill like back
cheering
around the back dunk. It was like everybody went okay. Like everybody was like, that was pretty good. Like that's the beauty of sports. I was at that game and it was hilarious at halftime. I like in my section people were even staring at me because I was like I started instantly clapping like that was pretty good, and a lot of people around me went, what are you doing? Why are you clapping? We hate him. And I was like, that was pretty good. Then a lot of people literally watched them go, yeah, and then start clapping with me. I was like, yeah. I was like, dude, don't be afraid to clap. And you need people like that in the crowd. Like, you need the people who start the energy and get people going type deal. And I just feel like right now we're in this whole section where everyone just wants to be the whole time. Oh, good job, guys. I'm glad you all tried your best. But you can also...
This also goes back to my point, though, that everybody's too goddamn spread out right now.
Oh, that's true.
Condense the freaking stadium. Put it to that spring finals thing where, like, everything funnels up. And you can have the hype moments. Like, I showed you last week, like, the dude that was, like, on the leash in the front row.
Yeah.
Like, that was
hilarious.
That shit's not possible when you're sitting behind a barricade. Like, really far back. Like, there's cameras showing like the middle of the crowd every now and then, but there's no like front row hype squad that can exist. And
because I think one of my favorite League of Legends moments I'll remember for an international event was when we booed Samsung Galaxy onto the stage.
Yep.
And when they were gonna play CLG and EU fans were getting mad, and even TSM fans were like putting like, shut up, shitty teeth people. Like we were like figure it out, like making stupid jokes and stuff. Like it was that kind of stupidity being like, shut up, we'll hate who we want to hate. And it was like and they were like, why are you booing them? That's so unclassy, you're such a bad international crowd. And we were like, we're not an international crowd, we're watching an NA team play a Korean team, we'll boo them if we want to. And that's what we all kept saying, and like that is the fun of sports.
I was disappointed that we didn't boo at Worlds, but then again, when you looked at the crowd, it made sense as to why.
It wasn't an American crowd.
We couldn't outnumber them.
Yeah.
We couldn't stand up to them. Dude, yeah. The EDG and JDG fans just absolutely fucking demolished it. Dude, they were just dedicated. Oh my god.
That's why I'm excited for Worlds at Korea.
I'm not sure about Korea.
Well, I'm fine with it though, because we've like every other Worlds, no matter where it is, when it's not in Korea, is just Chinese fans.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
I get what you mean now.
Yeah, like we're finally gonna get somebody cheering for somebody different for a little bit.
Although, isn't Korea closer to China than literally?
No, they'll go to Korea, yes, but I think Korean fans have the gumption to try to buy them out.
To buy out all the tickets to make sure that Chinese fans don't get them. Yeah.
I think it'll be fun to watch.
I can't wait. Either way, we got to wrap this up. I got to edit tomorrow's video for TFC and go on my rant. That's going to be hilarious for some people. For me, it was painful, but I got to get that edited. So anything else you want to say after today?
I'm going to start trying this because I buy them a lot, so I'm gonna try to get them for free. Sponsor us
cheaper.
anytime. You know,
I mean-
just saying, send them to Dave. Do you even drink these?
I can't because of my heart. I don't do any
Perfect.
energy drinks.
Yeah, G Fuel should sponsor Dave on TikTok. He has pretty good outreach. I can send you his numbers, and then he'll just have them sent to me. So let's push that.
Paul's gonna be my test dummy.
Yup.
That's the one thing that it kind of sucks because like energy drinks are always like the one main like sponsor for like content creators, and it's like that's never gonna be me because I will not drink your product, and I can't.
Dude,
like,
I miss those Game Fuels.
really.
They quit selling them in stores and stuff.
I wonder why.
What? Why?
Wasn't there like some bad ingredient or shit found in G Fuel that they had like
No.
their formula?
No, Game Fuel, like Mountain Dews, the one on your arm.
Oh, yeah.
When you, because I was thinking back when you sent me that, and dude, those with those pop tops were so freaking cool, man.
Were they
like-
good?
So good.
Hmm.
So good. Ooh. But they don't sell them anymore.
Yeah. Sucks. I don't know. Sponsorships are few and far between nowadays. But anyways, stream, we will catch you later. Be sure to tune in. I know Paul won't be playing in it this split due to his military service, but he is a sub on the roster. The needlessly large rods are back. I got to submit that tomorrow and get that in. Now that I think I have everybody's IGNs. So I'm excited for the new season.
And well, I mean, you guys are gonna cook, if we're being honest.
I'll do.
I feel like you're pretty stacked.
We got a really, really good lineup that I'm excited for. You know it's bad when I'm arguably the weakest link. That makes me happy.
Yep.
And I can't
It's a
get
good
kicked
team.
because it's my team. So you know what? I'm fine with being the weakest person. This is not an
I'm
Optic
excited to
VCCS
watch
day.
though. I think it's gonna be a good time.
It is. Me and Zebra are back in lane together.
Yeah, that is gonna be sick.
Dude, I cannot wait to post I'm obviously gonna stream every game, but then I'm also gonna chop up some highlights and like put them out as like a Saturday video like of our week's match. I cannot wait to highlight Zebra just flaming the shit out of me at all times. It's gonna be great. It's such good content.